InShalla and Ashe, blessings to you. It's just my recorder. I've been doing my musing moon meditation. But again, blessings to you, my energetic beings. And as we finish up the reconciliation of 2021 to really set the stage for 2022, the cosmic highway is this gateway opening to an elevated vibration. So today is January 12th, 2022, some twos there, but how was your 111 and the 222 day yesterday, netting to the 9? Please comment and share. And if you have yet to subscribe to my monthly gift in the village as a thank you for being part of my little collective tribe, my musing moon meditation is going to come out the gate as well. Anybody else feeling the juice from Pluto? It's about to get really super juicy in the outer realms. Be sure to fill into those threads, inside to the outside and also vice versa. You might be feeling like you are doing a two-step today, the dance, moving through the field to a pathway or a highway that's actually transitioning. So really be in a place of peace, the calmness of the flows as your living style is about to navigate to a different place of creation. It's the idea of success and what that is for you. Our bones might feel a little rattled today from the inside to the outside. I don't know if you've ever experienced rattled bones, but it's a thing. So it's our physical and our emotional threads in our in-body. So we can literally rattle or feel a little bit chaotic. So really feel into the element that you should actually ground into today and feel into those threads of where your heart does belong and the idea of what that even is for you. So it's like this collaboration or this vision board where we actually merge our heart with our ideas. With all of that, welcome to today's daily snippet. I am your host, a practicing holistic Sha'medium and a subtle energetic surgeon, merging the indigenous technologies with subtle energies, elements, and the beings that are elemental, and so much more. But my intention truly is to merge the indigenous with the subtle realms to assist you into navigating your own personal prime directive, really just reintroducing yourself to and through the being that truly resides within you. My name is actually Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. If you're interested in a card for your day, simply like, comment, and share my show. And really helping me really helps you as well. So with all that, let's get into the cards of today. Yesterday I played with, let me see if I could do this correctly. Oh, good, bonus. Yesterday I played with my Cosmic Ascension deck, and today I'm playing with my Shadowscape. I almost said Shadow Seers. I haven't played with them for a while. But the Shadowscape I really like. They're kind of ethereal for me. I'm just trying to shift things up. But first up, we have the 9 of Wands. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's like these guardians that are observing. Hi, Stephanie. I got a card for you. But the cards are observing from above. They're always in the state of alert and caution. They're kind of these eternal guardians, just guarding the mysterious forces kind of hidden in the abyss. So whether it's light, a mist, or at the far edges of the world, nothing can really go beyond their peripheral, their sight. They kind of remind me of owls in a weird way, a cosmic owl. But they really understand that it was their duty and also their responsibility to guard, just paying particular attention to the west, where the light kind of withers and it dies at the end of the day. So when these golden rays and the green of the leaves kind of raise in a farewell, what would happen to the abyss when the night kind of comes in? So are the guards strong enough to withstand the onslaught? In fact, they never really experience this. And every day at the moment of this transition between twilight and night, those threads, they kind of wait for these unnamed enemies, or what they appear to be an enemy, just straining their eyes out into the darkness, out into the west, and just wondering what would happen into the evening. But they're always at this place to take stride in it and kind of keeping their heads high and paying attention to where the sun still is kind of shining on their shoulders or where that is. I'm kind of seeing my I have a sundial necklace that just popped in for some reason. But things really start to get harder at the peaceful edge of the twilight mist. Although sometimes it's delusional, they still maintain their stance because one day they know something's going to happen to prove that their thinking is completely right. Just being on alert, like that alert signal, that kind of is the main point of the Nine of Wands. And it's kind of urging us to reserve our strength and always kind of prepare for any situation. Sometimes it's more important to hold the core of our strength. It's like doing too many sit ups, and to learn about our own inner strength. Meanwhile, we often know nothing about our own personal stamina until we experience it firsthand through the difficulties or challenges in life. So it seems that people easily kind of become lazy or kind of subjective. They lose kind of their vigilance or their vigil. They get off course, right? When there's not really challenges around, we almost kind of create our own challenges just because we're used to them. So sometimes, we just need to learn to maintain kind of a responsive ability, but still being in our neutrality zone. That's kind of what I see it as. And with doing that, we can also be, sometimes it's the most difficult challenge as well. But this card is kind of a signal or a sign of hope and also encouragement that if we stay strong against these challenges, these forces of adversity, we're really going to attain and reach our goals. So these challenges sometimes, they're just like a stormy time of darkness, like before the dawn. So words like guardian or territorial integrity, alertness, inner strength, being determined, So when we want to give up, the Nine of Wands, it appears actually. So this can really mark a minor growing failure or weight on our shoulders. It sometimes appears when we ourselves or our relatives or our friends, we might have a conflict. We get stuck and sometimes we feel like there's no way out. The meaning, like we have no hope and we want to give up on everything. So that kind of, it implies kind of that we take a lot of time to achieve what we want, what our heart wants. Ultimately, that's really the thread, but there's going to be things that prevent us from reaching our destination or our success. It's also about skepticism, where, we almost trust no one. And I have trust issues, not going to haggle that. But, we do not allow anyone to touch the safety wall, our boundaries that we create. So this makes us, in a way, we're kind of a fool of being manipulated and even being taken advantage of. But on the other hand, the other side of the coin, it's also saying that giving up might not be a bad idea at all, where we might have realized maybe uncertainties in our plans. And we know that no matter how hard we try, it really doesn't work sometimes. So it's like this message here is to kind of represents hope beyond all difficulties, to find our happiness and also our success and honor what that looks like. And also facing our difficulties can really make us not be afraid anymore, even when we want to give up. But if we overcome them, we really gain this inner strength and we have this optimistic venue on the other side. But, it can also represent the skeptics and the loss of faith in life. So there's kind of a message where we can literally flip the switch and turn our lives around. Sometimes we feel at risk, but, you kind of want to thank the energy for that, because the safety cover, it then becomes removed and we're free to flow. So it's encouraging us to experience and overcome our trivial pursuits, our challenges. And, oftentimes it's through our hardships that our challenges, we become stronger on the other side of the river. That's kind of how I see that. And I don't know who said hi, but I apologize. I can see you said hi, but it's not showing me your name. I don't know how this stuff works, but I'm getting better. That's all I can say. I'm doing great. Next up, we have the moon, the juicy moon. Love the moon. And the moon herself, the goddess, she's in Taurus at the moment, moving into the season of Gemini. So our minds are going to collaborate with our emotions very soon. I'm not sure what time, but it'll be later in the day. The moon kind of moves a degree every 2 hours, but we're escalating there. We're just going to be wanting to talk about how we feel. It's our emotions and our thoughts create the outcome. But the moon, so this, I love this. Of course, who doesn't love the moon? I just have to say, as a reflector, I live by the moon. It's just my flowing go-to, the lunarities. But the sun's eyes are slowly closed, and we have this intense sunlight that really spreads throughout the world, and it kind of fades away and it appears to be turned off. But the time is coming where the moon is going to emerge and kind of take over half of the world soon. So we have this magic circle. What I see as a magic circle is the mushrooms and the goblins, and they emit these waves of the sliver of light in the effervescent moonlight. At the time, they kind of transfer within the twilight. They become more and more brilliant. They light up, right? So these otherworldly beings, they kind of unite to really light up the road to the fairy queen herself. So, you know, here she comes. She's echoing in the wind. She's got this magical voice, and she's just coming in. She's excited, and they're excited, these otherworldly beings. This is the moon. It's the essence of her. So they're screaming for everyone to get out of the way, and they're dashing through the forest like arrows dashing. And they have this magical halo that's kind of radiating, and it's kind of teasing and deflecting anyone who's curious and kind of following that seduction. So the gods of the forest, they cleanse tightly around these birch trees, these essences. They're totally magical beings, right? And this is when the leaves kind of fall to the ground, and they follow the fairy queen's footsteps, if you will. So they just kind of stroll through the forest, and the buttercups, you know, what happens energetically is when the queen comes in, besides the fairy, the fairy mushrooms, the circle, there I go. The flowers kind of grow underneath her bare feet. Different kinds. They're usually otherworldly, but, you know, when doing so, it's like the dance of the realm is bubbling through, and watching the swaying dance in the evening, where the dance itself, these otherworldly beings, they flee from the daylight and they happily rejoice. They sing. They sing away the sorrow and the misery, the secrets revealed or uttered. They flow them away. So they have this light that's decorated through the fairy ring, and this wild abandon, and it's effervescent in the emotional state. It's I'm thinking of liminal, the subliminal state. So the moon sometimes refers to our fears and our anxiety and our beliefs and hallucinations, and just experiencing distortion, maybe our dreams, maybe even delusional scenes or things that seem like they're delusional. Even kind of the paranormal, it's a master of the art of deception, but there's also potential dangers that really exist, kind of, when you step into a fairy circle, but acknowledging it. I actually had a mushroom fairy circle on my walk with Didymus in the fall, which was super magical. I should have posted a picture, but, you know, just knowing they're there and being aware. But the moon itself is the kingdom, the realm that's hidden behind what we perceive. So we have this satisfaction and predictabilities. In the afterlife, it kind of does represent our fear, but it's this full inspiration in kind of a guided, magical way. And kind of, sometimes it can make the people feel discouraged or endangered. It's our emotions, right? So even unstable travelers, sometimes if they get lost and they deviate off their path in the darkness, these otherworldly beings sometimes will tempt them. But if you have a stronger sense of wisdom, ancient wisdom, it kind of points, it awakens to where the line might be blurred. So we're not led astray by trivial pursuits. But the moon herself is hidden out of the grass, I should say. That's what I'm seeing. The land of these invisible otherworldly mysteries. So it's a source of mixture of darkness and of light, through a place where there's the secret gift that the moon offers us to those who truly know how to kind of accept that. The moon herself is intuition, she's spiritual awareness, she's the imagination, the imaginal realm, the extraordinary or the extraordinary mystery, nightmares sometimes, even suspicion or dishonesty, but even more so, it's the overwhelming emotions. You know, and it's water, so it can be self-destructive as well, water, the flow. But the moon is can be, it's that yin energy. So it can feel deceptive in ways. And sometimes this card, it implies the secrets of yourself or those around you, things that are hidden and deep. But it also, represents the deception. So it's kind of two sides of the coin. So something, a lie possibly, might come out of the closet of an old friend or a stranger, or maybe somebody's actually deceiving them or you. So if you feel that you can't trust someone, it's likely that they are not trustworthy, because it's our emotionals. So believe in your instincts, your gut. So if you are waiting for someone's answer, it might take you a long time to get it. So just be patient. I always like to take a breath, hold for a count of 3, and take that pause. But the moon, is cyclical, and our mood might shift or change continuously in these upcoming days, especially with, being in her home sign. I just finished my musing moon meditation, but the moon always says that we are on the right path. And sometimes that path is full of obstacles, and the light of the moon can bring us or lead us forward through on our path. It illuminates it. So our intuition is really at its best when we're aware of the dangers that kind of come up through those thread lines when we feel into our emotions. So it's just helpful in creating strength and belief. Sometimes it's a sign that we might be straying and wandering around without a clear goal. We're getting off of our path. So we need to kind of clear our way, and to get clear on our path, clarity, purpose. It's water energy. So our emotions. So this insight, I sense, is for the full goddess in Cancer that's kind of brisking off of our sleeves very soon. So it's like getting in touch with our feelings and our emotions, right? The goddess herself. That's all I can say about that. And then I have the devil, as you can see, listlessly just watching around those surrounding walls. And, sometimes we forget the fact that we might feel like we're not completely imprisoned, like barriers and walls. And that sometimes there's a galactic world out there. And the sky itself, sometimes, the sky, I think the other world sometimes cries out songs and melodies to create beauty and freedom, to release us. This card being reversed, it's like the other world is coming into our world, where we can escape from our fear, creating boundaries, possibly walls or shackles. Sometimes we feel like we're in these threads that are wrapping us up, especially if we feel weak. But the key is really liberation. Liberation is close. So, I wish sometimes I could scream to really wake people up, trying to turn our eyes to look around, to see, utilizing our ears to hear a different voice possibly. Sometimes the devil is infatuation. That's all that's left. And all that we can hear sometimes or feel is the dance above the devil, with the devil and I'm thinking of the devil's advocate. Don't know why, but it's this controlling, instigating, kind of suppressing energy. But it's being released. It's reversed. Even if the devil's hooves were jumping down on and mocking and temptation, it's our inner bonds of will, so we can keep bouncing and laughing to get us out of those threads. So sometimes when we feel imprisoned or fierce in our soul space, the devil kind of holds us back. It refers kind of to the loss of independence. Maybe it's a domination of addiction or slavery, kind of being stuck in the material, physical kingdom, indulging in our otherworldly passions, choosing to stay in the darkness and feeling the despair, the limiting choices possibly on the threads. I talked about choices yesterday, but the devil really plays on his desires with this tempting touch to break free and seek freedom from not treating himself like he is the doll, looking far beyond like our material bonds and those temptations, right? So words like pessimism or darkness, greed, lust, even self-doubt or addiction, sexual instincts, rottenness, stuff like that feels like a rotten egg. So there's this impressive detail in this card, and the crown actually of the Lover's card is taken out and away from the happy couple. I don't know if you've seen that card, but the devil brings it back when he's imprisoning this woman. So it shows that this couple was too immersed in love to give up everything. And this imprisoned woman was actually too greedy, regardless of everything that she had, to get the power that she desires within her heart space. So now she's created a wall of confinement. It's very thin, it's just a form energetically. And she's got these handcuffs, but it's a thin thread that can be broken with just a little strength. Not to mention, she also has a key right above her head to free herself from those shackles, but she's panicked, she's bent down. She doesn't dare to face everything, and she let the idea of greed and being a coward take control of her essence, herself. So the wall has kind of embodied her figure, herself, her beingness. So she's got all these feelings of being helpless and longing for freedom, regret. So she's allowing the devil to be the master, controlling her, trapping her heart. It's sticky, it's cold. She possibly is frightened. And she's plunged herself kind of in a trap where there is the power, the ambition, maybe ruthlessness, temptation through those desires. You know, so you kind of have to ask, did she exchange her heart for the devil to achieve these things? Or, you know, as for the devil, he's kind of this embodiment of cold-heartedness, but he's also a wise, confident person. So who knows what he's going to have to do, but he always has a plan, as he does for everything. So he always understands what his prey wants as he lures them in to fall into his trap automatically. So he knows really how to control. He's clever. He makes them stay so he can get them to follow his wishes. So he foresees, he's out into the future. He judges things kind of like an owl. He's careful, he's detailed, he's strong, he's ambitious, and he's powerful. And he's kind of dangerous, and he's full of all those temptations. But on the other side of that coin, he's also miserable, and he's also lonely. So a lot of people always assume that the devil is a bad card when it's been pulled. But it really is the job to kind of look around and see the other cards and just determine whether we are the victim or if we are the devil. Two sides of the same coin. So, you know, you have to ask yourself, are you wise enough, or are you in the middle of a temptation? Or is the temptation, it's reversed, is it flowing away? You know, and who said ambition isn't great, right? And who said that putting your heart aside to complete your work and your task is the wrong thing, you know? That's going to create success for yourself and for others. However, you don't want it to control your life like the devil either, making you feel heartless. So the image itself of the devil kind of indicates the longer the woman lives within, the closer she gets to the devil, those temptations, and the less human she actually becomes. Those parts are fading away. So the naked truths kind of come out gradually. They get revealed over time and space. So it kind of refers to a torment and the emptiness we might be feeling in our everyday life, and that we should live and set higher ambitions and goals and actually strive for them, while also at the same time spending time and listening to our heart instead of possibly chasing after frivolous things. So the devil kind of is a warning signal that maybe we're trying to follow a path that's going to bring us nothing but frustration or depression, you know. However, at the same time, we can't escape the vicious cycle. We get stuck in those threads, but still try to follow the old path and sink in deeper. If we carry a lot of ambition and immerse ourselves in those, no matter how hard we try, we still kind of get stuck in that feeling. So you might have realized the dangers in your lifestyle, but you have no way out. However, because of our personality being ambitious, we can also freely express ourselves without any obstacles. So I would say the advice here is like we should review our living style, our lifestyle, and adjust it a little bit where we can achieve our personal desires if we really make that effort. And also, you know, stay out of torturing ourselves and creating unreachable desires or dreams. And we might even wake up after a long, frustrating dream, getting angry at ourselves or somebody around us, where bad or unhealthy habits kind of appear. So it's kind of a suggestion that we should maybe list what we really need or need to give up, two sides of the coin, and learn really how to let go and still maintain that healthy lifestyle. And then we have a way to kind of regain our confidence. But, ultimately just do what you think is right for yourself, identify with it, and be objective to get back to who you are, your own personal essence. And sometimes, the devil does bring positive things. So it's kind of advising us to be strong and act decisively, commit in decisions. We're in the season of Capricorn. Even at times when we're forced to put our emotions, the moon, aside and to kind of, we have to fight sometimes with others in ways to win. And then we get kind of a greater idea about our ambitions than we think we do. We have that in our thread. So it's like, I always like to challenge my fears and utilize our voice, our outside voice. So it's kind of the message there. Now, the beauty of it, hang on there. Yeah, I can't believe this, Stephanie. I pulled the 5 of Swords for you, which actually, it's the mind, it's the swords. We can see the blackness of the dark. The night is fading away, the night himself, and the night, the night and the night. But there's, I don't know if you can see them, but there's rays of blood. They're colored in the sunlight and they're beginning to glow. So, it's like cutting through the dim layers of cover in the gloomy sky so we can see through the other side. And suddenly there's a calmness, there's an atmosphere that gets, what's the word? It gets shattered everywhere by the echoing of the swans and the trumpets. So this dark angel kind of withdraws his sword from the sheet, and he's withdrawing within himself, and he's ready to tense up to any battle. And he's got all these black swans, which I find curious energetically, but they immerse themselves and they're just full of interest. They have this otherworldly power, ostentatious, and it kind of is unknown whether they're aware of it or not, but they realize that they're no longer iridescent, like the pure white outfit. Their feathers are now this ebony black color, so they might have a smell of anger with deadly beauty, but they're still howling, they're still echoing, they have a sound like of screaming. So it's a way to really send challenges to the heavens about the next battle or the challenge at hand. It's kind of like the arrow that's launched and thrusted forward that has a target, kind of reminds me of Cupid. But our knight has actually sacrificed this integrity to be able to achieve the results, leaving only himself and his mind, all for the sake of survival. But like in any battle, there's always the concepts of both victory or defeat, two sides of the coin. No matter which one happens, we can't exist without the other, right? It's the duality. So, who is playing the dark angel? Just saying. Or is he the one who prevails? He's just been defeated and he's deporting, he's fleeting, he's fled from heaven, like two sides. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword in his back. The 2 of Swords itself, a rejection of the possibility of being defeated, or between the right and the wrongs and the battles that we choose to pursue. So it's kind of a sign of conflict of interest. The chords are in discord, or the sounds are in discord. So choices are kind of set to make it easier to gain self-interest. So you kind of have to put the connection with the things that are involved and kind of have a redeeming quality of itself, just feeling into the whole world that's kind of merging. So you might feel it's against yourself, but otherworldly, maybe a broader, wider vision can create a perspective that's actually otherworldly, that mountaintop view. So the 5 of Swords is also related to being vulnerable, maybe some chaos, which actually the energy of today has chaos in it. You might feel a little ridiculed, maybe embarrassed even, negative thoughts or unfairness. Sometimes we have to cut things off. So it's kind of implying a need to put your own personal needs first. You might feel yourself experiencing some mixed feelings about life in general, maybe some people in particular, but don't ignore it, and do not feel as if you have to say all the things that you think or what you feel. Sometimes taking a path of neutrality and feeling into yourself and just knowing, you have worked hard for everything you have. So it's like this intimate and durable relationships with our friends and our lovers just thinking out loud, just consider carefully before you really talk to somebody or confide in somebody. I would probably journal myself. Um, and even if people are doing things that are unkind, just find a way to free yourself, unshackle yourself from that. Take better care of yourself, and it's your turn to act and kind of step up and ask for fairness with whatever's happening. And just be aware that if you're hurt in the process or others, the victory on the other side, there's always imperfectness in the perfectness. So, it's kind of sometimes it's loss, sometimes it's carelessness. But this is the stage where, sometimes we struggle to get back what belongs to us authentically. But it's also something, sometimes when we work really hard, it gets cascaded away despite how hard we work. So, it's almost like we don't get acknowledged for the things that we've done. So kind of be cautious. Maybe don't boast a lot. Kind of, I would stay in a state of neutrality. That's all I'm seeing in your heart space. It's also could be a warning even. Maybe your circle of friends is shifting and changing. I would say a new group of friends, really, to bring in and let what's not working for you cascade away. So it won't be really a loss. It's going to be a good thing, a otherworldly good thing. So I would just say that whatever you're engaged in, it might feel like a battle, but you're going to win, and things can shift and be changed. And you might feel like everything is against you. You might feel like you're alone. Again, your close friends might leave you. So it's kind of to reflect on your actions. Maybe you've had some conflicts. Maybe you have some deep cracks in relationships, but it's strong. It's strength. It's in the middle of things, right? So you might defy everything to win, but just be aware, things are going to cascade and fall away, even the swords. So yeah, you might even feel maybe depressed or have those negative thoughts, but the advice here is just learn to let go of blind ambition, negative lifestyles, and balance your emotions. Be in your heart space and just care more about the people around you, and accept the fact that you might have lost something, but there's always magic on the other side, just knowing that failure really isn't a bad thing necessarily. It's just important sometimes that we have these lessons. To me, they're energetic hiccups. So it's like, what am I supposed to learn from this? What's on the other side? So I hope that was helpful. Swords can sometimes feel a little dreary, but there truly is magic on the other side of adversity. I see that all the time. It's just looking at it and being in the threads. It gets a little hard at the same time, right? And then the elemental realm. So I'm telling you, look at all those oxen down there. You cannot make this stuff up. We have a Yin Wood Ox day, a day with all that yin energy. Everything is yin. So yin is our inner constitution. It's our inner world. There is no wood to ground into for our day. So that makes it a little squishy. There's no fire to create or to perform. So our day has water hidden in those branches for support. But how does it get to it? We have all this yin metal to attribute to chopping away at the grass. I just feel bad for today in a way. But we definitely need water to free up. How are we going to free up the water? We got to go into the rivers, sit by a lake or a pond, go to a river or a stream, be in nature, or for me, it's out in the snow. So the ox, all this oxen energy just feels super heavy to me, all that earth energy in the element, right? So we have this Yin Wood Ox. It's in conflict with the yin metal. They don't get along, right? Wood chops it, or metal chops at wood. There's not enough wood to dull the blade, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So this ox has the feeling of being frustrated, maybe having blinders on, a yoke around its neck. I mean, it's where we feel as if we've been stabbed in the back in a way. So this might, honestly, this just might be the latest headlines of the day. Like, things are coming out. What is the element of writing and publishing? So it might be a time to really kind of move forward, see with new eyes, vision the world for what it is and what is really happening in those thread lines, going outside and actually living life. where we can grow. You know, where can we grow and live to our potential? Seriously, experiencing life, pushing beyond the barriers that were created or are being created, you know, the need to be validated by those who appear to be in authority. I mean, this is happening, just giving us full reign to be who we are in our beingness, in our essence. Our happiness is kind of derived from being creative and expressive, and also transforming ourselves into functioning and being fully in our essence, being a human being in our vessel, just moving our lives out of the black and the white into the full spectrum, into the rainbow, right? I kind of see the rainbow grid. So we could be getting the crown, or the invitation to see through the crown, the black and the white. That's how color comes in through our crown center, is black and white, bringing it down into our third eye. And that's where it starts to shine. That's where the rainbow grid comes in. So the ground and the third eye are commingling and merging today. So we have like the quantum otherworldly realms here. It kind of feels a little Wizard of Oz-ish. But we have the Ong through the crown and the Om. So I mean, I'm probably going to Om and Ong all day till they light up the brightness of the sky, the bright night sky, the moon and the devil. So I would say there's lots of mystical magic today. Something is going to energetically hiccup its way out onto the stage with our spiritual connection, along with our intuition and our wisdom, to carry it in and through our bones, our ancestral ancient wisdom. Something otherworldly is definitely on the grid line. And our heart today is going to be attracting through those laws of spirit, our ancestors. The will itself might fly off. It's almost like we can feel it. It's as if the galactic grid is going to strike at any moment. So I'm sure we've all been connecting with otherworldly assets over the last couple of years. I know I have. The otherworldly, you know. So you kind of have to ask yourself, how is your emotional foundation? Are you on some unstable ground? Putting your left hand on your heart, you know. I like to feel into my feelings throughout the day, and I like to just ask questions so the rug doesn't get pulled out from under my feet. You know, what is the memo? And I always love the energy of a day like today. For me, it's otherworldly, and I have that in my essence to be out in those grid lines. Most people feel a bit chaotic, or yeah, it's really a disruption to their frequency. But for me, the magic is there. This is the stage. So it's kind of, you know, we feel the division within our emotional frequency. So it's like this structure in our foundation where the ripple and the wave, the future, that's kind of where we're heading. So we got to flow into these rivers and really tune into our intuition and also our feelings. How do I feel about that? And then, you know, in doing so, we then know what does or does not belong. Where does somebody belong in the threads? We're definitely in some curious times, but I sense and I feel the changes in the air. So it's like going to the thrift store, whether you're dropping things off, deciding what does belong or what does feel right, and releasing what no longer feels juicy or belongs and giving it to somebody else that can actually use it. Cleansing the cosmic debris and the cobwebs and the clutter. You know, these energetic hiccups, they're going to come through those threads today. So really feel into them. The waves, that's the best way to really sail through this frequency, just allowing things to flow naturally so our ship doesn't sink, get unplugged and tread in lower waters. There really is magic on the other side. So feel into what feels juicy and then feel into it again. And then ask yourself, what does your intuition say about those feelings? And where do you feel it in your body? You know, your body sends out these alert signals. They always come through the auric fields first before they land into our centers and gravitate otherworldly. Let's see. Now I got my herb of the day. You're welcome, Stephanie, by the way. Cayenne. So cayenne is traditionally, it's a remedy for excess colds and moistness. I find it kind of curious. It's an herb for Capricorn, but it's this hot, drying herb. It's excellent for stomach. If your stomach's weakened by a cold, it's kind of a common ailment for Capricorns if they're out of balance. So yeah, an herbalist actually recommends cayenne as a primary remedy for different congestions in our gut. It's just effective for clearing out and stimulating our digestive fire energy. And we don't have any fire today, so that might be a great idea. I used to do cayenne and lemon water and maple syrup kind of cleanses. But the cayenne helps to relieve pain by stimulating and releasing endorphins in our brain, whether we ingest it or we apply it to an area. So it really is a great herb for colds and flus. It clears congestion, it relieves aches and pains, and it warms up a cold body in our energetic system. So, like I said, I used to mix it with water, lemon. I would probably do a whole lemon. That's just my thing. Um, and a little cayenne pepper, maple syrup, and just heat it up and sip on it because it stimulates our circulation, fire energy, our blood. So it's just great during the winter to really wake up our body, to warm us up. Maybe we feel stagnant inside, so we need some stimulation. You can also use it as a compress with oils for bruising or inflammation. Again, it's fire energy. And just warm up different aspects of the body. You can even use it in a foot bath or, like, again, the flu, gargle with it for your throat. It also helps stop bleeding quickly. So as an herb, it really goes a long way, but too much can also be a little irritating. So just be gentle with that. I always think less is more, except for lemon water, just saying. But some affirmations to get you on your way. I say get in the elevated realms and seek to get advice or guidance from an otherworldly being, whether that's an angelic being, an ancestor, an elemental being. Join me for Voices of the Other World. This really is going to be an immersion to collaborate with otherworldly beings, and we all have them. And be in a state of grace-filled joy. Believe in your heart space that we are going to sail through this storm. We're going to have an energetic hiccup, but we're sailing through it because we are doing something great. That's usually what happens. That's why hiccups generally come in. It's either a lesson or we're onto something juicy. So I would affirm that I am powered up to attract the life I'm meant to live, and I believe it, infinity and beyond. I'm thinking of, oh gosh, Buzz Lightyear. Infinity and beyond, that I belong feeling it too. So with all of that, thanks for tuning in. Sorry I was a little late. And InShalla and Ashe. Blessings.